Hello everyone, it's time to update real quick with yet another renovation, and this time we are moving on to Garden Essence, the BFF Household. So this is still in Foundry Cove, where we've done most of the houses already. So if you haven't seen those renovations, feel free to click the I button above. And I think we only have Creek Cabana left, and we should be done with the renovation in this neighborhood. Again, this is part of the save file that I'm currently working on. So if you have suggestions or requests, feel free to comment them below. I am also giving them a makeover, but I love CC and we are sticking with base game on this save file, so wish me luck. I do have a plan for that though, so watch out for it. And yeah, back to our renovation here. So the original house is the largest lot in Foundry Cove. It's about 40 by 30, and it has three bedrooms for the three Sims living here, and one bath. I know, one bath. Seriously, yeah. Anyway, we'll remedy that. So it also has a pretty big backyard with fence and a deck area, but it still has a lot of space on the other side. It's also a colonial style home like the other ones in the neighborhood. Now let's talk about the household first, shall we? So we have three Sims in this house. We have Summer Holiday. I know, like really Sims. Then we have Travis Scott, and lastly Liberty Lee. So I'll get to their personalities and traits later, but just a summary because we'll talk more about it on their makeover video. But yeah, it was indicated that they are very close roomies, but they're only acquaintances. It was also supposed to be a love triangle, but the lore, it's not luring. Um, yeah, so going back to the house, I forgot how much it costs, but it's definitely less than 100,000 simoleons. But since it's already occupied, I don't think that's relevant anymore unless you want to kick them out. But it will be on the lot and build info in the description box below. Like I said, this was the biggest lot in the neighborhood, and it still has a space on the other side. So I actually attempted, keyword attempted, to build a garage, but it just looks weird. Then I was thinking maybe we can have a pool there, but the thing is that space is right next to the walkway and like the main road, so that's weirder. And I don't think it fits the vibe of this neighborhood, so I've decided to leave it as is. If you want to add it to your game, you can build whatever you want there. So I just spruced up the backyard a wee bit. Now, when I was removing the furniture and knocking down the walls, I noticed that the front door was not symmetrical with the porch steps, so that kind of hurt my brain a bit. Also, from the very beginning, I know I wanted an entryway because there's a space for it, so I got on that first. I know it's another open living kitchen, but there's already a lot of rooms in this house, and the shape of it, it's still like a shotgun style home, so it's free to add more rooms. The original house is an open living area as well, so I just decided to keep it. And another thing about this house is that the hallway is too narrow. I was going to have like an archway leading to the rooms, but I didn't like it, so I just kept it open and give it a little more space. When I added the entryway, there was a small nook on the side, and at first I was going to turn it into a shared office, but I think that their work, it would be best for them to have their own computers in their bedrooms, for Travis and Liberty at least. I was going to add like a game console for Summer, but I realized we don't have that in base game. What I think, because I tried to search for it, but there was none, so Summer can play on the computers, I guess. For the interior, they are still the same but muted, especially for the rooms. So let's talk about the rooms for these scenes. Starting off with Travis, he has a very blue room, so I kept that, but gave it a little more texture with his wallpaper and mixed up with wood and whites for the furnitures. So Travis is a geek, so he likes video games and programming. So naturally his job is tech related. So I know from the start that he needs a computer and a good quality one. The size of the room is pretty okay, just enough for his essentials. So he has an office space. Then I just added some geeky clutter, like those Sims 4 versions of Funko Pop and posters. Moving on to Liberty, so she's in the astronaut career. So I definitely added some activities for her around the house, but for her room, previously it was red, like very red. So I changed it a wee bit with a wallpaper that is sort of red but muted. So it's close to pink, not as pink as Summer's though, but I did keep um, some of the reds. So she's also a geek, a bookworm. Her logic skill is pretty good, so I was going to add a chess table in her room, but I think that's a good outdoor activity, so I decided to hold off and give her a computer instead. Not as good as Travis's, but that should serve its purpose, whatever that is. She also has a reading nook, and Travis also has one. Honestly, this house has a lot of reading nooks. But come on, you have two gigs here in an actual book form. I also want the cozy vibes. So yeah, her room size is just enough for her things as well. I added some astronaut related stuff like painting. And last room is Summer's. So before it was very pink, very princessy, and has that girly girl vibe. And they use a lot of Queen Anne style furniture, so I did the same. It's still very pink, very princessy, and definitely giving the girly girl vibe. I also used some Queen Anne stuff, but they are muted and not in your face like before. Unlike the other two rooms, hers I kept when it comes to the size because it was easier since it was like an added room to this house. And like I said earlier, she likes video gaming as well, but we don't have a console. But hey, there are two computers in this lot. She can definitely use one of them or two of them at the same time and be a streamer. I did give her sort of like a vanity. We don't have a vanity in base game, and I used to make one with one of those study tables, the half size one, I think. It was from Parenthood, and Diner Living has one as well, but you can definitely use that as a vanity table and add in a chair and mirror above. But alas, we can't do that with the study tables in base game. So I just used her dresser, placed the mirror above, add some girly vibes clutter, Bob's your uncle. Another thing with Summer is she's in the cooking career and she likes mixology, so I did have a mini bar added in the kitchen. Speaking of the kitchen, um, it has all the essential appliances, but it's very basic kitchen except for the added bar. But again, it's base games, so our counter choices are pretty limited. Same with the dining. I'm afraid I'm using the same dining tables and chairs, so I decided to give it a little lower because the dining chair I used is giving IKEA vibes. So in this renovated house, we have classic and modern contemporary furniture. The lower is that the house has been here for years and went through previous renovations as well. And then these young adults came in, they kept some furnitures and then added some contemporary ones. That's why we have Queen Anne vibes in Summer's room and the living room, actually. But yeah, that's why I added a fireplace as well, and it's pretty similar with the family home I built previously. But then again, the houses here are pretty similar exterior wise, so you're bound to have some similarities in the interior as well, especially a fireplace that is like part of the foundation of the house. I actually already renovated this lot before. I bulldozed it, so but no, this is for a new save, so we're keeping like the house itself. We're just renovating the inside. And like I said earlier, I wanted an entryway, so we have like coat rack and a sitting area that you can use whilst putting on your shoes. And there is a small reading nook next to the dining room for the exterior. So I kept the deck and added a chess table there. Like I said, it's a good outdoor activity. I also added a telescope. Thanks to Simgots, we now have a smaller one. And yeah, since the backyard is pretty big, I added a spaceship that they can build slowly. That's a good spot for it, and that is something that Liberty can get from her job, I think. And yeah, I kept the planters, and this house is very planty because I reckon one of them at least could potentially be into gardening since they already have that before the renovation. We also have a grill and a dining area outside. So again, these are all base game, but if you want to add this build to your game, you have to enable the move objects cheat on. But I've also play tested it, so everything should be working. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the build. Hit the like button if you did, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.